The La Liga 2025-2026 season has officially kicked off, and with the big hitters about to kick off their campaign in the next few days, I wanted to do my La Liga predictions for the 2025-2026 season. Now, I am going to try and be as unbiased as possible when doing this list. I really will. But let's not waste any more time and kick things off with the champions, where I am going Real Madrid. Now, I know what I just said, but hear me out. Last year, Real Madrid had one of the worst seasons they've had in a very long time, and Barcelona had one of the best seasons they've had in a very long time, and yet the points difference at the end of the season was just 4. Just 4. Now, every time we played Barca in every El Clasico, it was a very one-sided affair. We came nowhere near beating them, we were nowhere near good enough, and they deserved to beat us in every single game we played last year. But regardless of all that, we finished the season just 4 points behind them. And Real Madrid have strengthened very well in the summer transfer window. They have not only addressed key issues in the squad, they have picked up some very high profile players like Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is arguably the best right back in world football. I just believe with the recruitment they have made, with the squad they already had at their disposal, and then you add on top Xabi Alonso, it's just a recipe for success, and Real Madrid will end up winning La Liga this year. In second place, as runners-up, I have Barcelona. Now, the only real reason and the only real thing that separated 1 and 2 for me was the fact that Real Madrid don't need to beat Barcelona to become La Liga champions. Don't get me wrong, I don't think the La Liga games against Barcelona this year will be anywhere near as one-sided. I have hope and belief that they won't beat us 4-0 at the Bernabeu, and we won't lose at the Montjuic or Camp Nou or wherever they're playing their football nowadays. But I just think Real Madrid are so much better than they were last year, and they can get those points that they were dropping last year against the other teams, and that's where they will pip Barcelona. That's got nothing to against Barcelona. I think Barcelona are still going to be phenomenal. I think Barcelona have recruited very well. I actually do. I think they've recruited very well. Joan Garcia is a fantastic young goalkeeper who solves a big problem that they had, because Ter Stegen is always injured. And Szczesny, even though he was very good last year, the guy is getting on in age, and they definitely needed to address the goalkeeping position, and they've bought a fantastic young Spanish goalkeeper in Garcia. Besides that, they did not get Nico Williams. It was very funny to me, but they've got Marcus Rashford. If Marcus Rashford ends up being the player we saw at Aston Villa and the player we saw in his early days at Man United, they have got a problem. They have got a massive problem, or I should rather say the rest of La Liga has a massive problem, because he is going to wreak havoc. Rashford has all the tools needed to be a monster in Barcelona's attack. He has the pace, he has the power, he has the shooting ability, he has the footwork, he has the skills, he has everything needed, and he can play across all 3 positions in the attack, something Nico probably couldn't do. So I think they have got an absolute monster in him. It just depends which Rashford shows up, and whether he is the Rashford we know he can be, or he's the Rashford who doesn't really care and is just coasting by and ends up being very poor. Moving on to third and fourth place, I've gone for Atletico Madrid and Athletic Bilbao. Now, Atletico, they spent 188 million last year, and this year they've added on to that further with another 173 million spent, and we're still in the middle of August, on a further 8 signings. But it's Atletico Madrid. It's just that Simeone thing. Whenever they play Barcelona or Real Madrid, they play very park the bus, ultra defensive. And now that's not to say they change up their style of play against other teams. They typically tend to play like that. It's just, I just think he has this inferiority complex against the bigger teams, and he instills that onto the players. And it makes a big difference. I do think it makes a big difference, and it's one of the reasons they always just fail to get over the final hurdle, and I think they're going to do the same this year as well. Rodrigo de Paul was a big loss for them. I mean, to an extent. Whenever we played them, I always hated when he got on the ball, because his passing ability was very good, and his composure in tight spaces was also kind of irritating. So I'm kind of glad he's gone, but I just don't think they're going to get any better than last year, and they're going to finish third again. Bilbao have spent 15 million this year, but the most important thing for Bilbao is the fact that they kept Nico Williams. They kept their star man, or one of their star men, depending on who you want to look at. And not only that, they have signed him to a massive long-term contract. So it is phenomenal business for Bilbao in general, but also that morale boost that it's going to give the fans and the squad cannot be underestimated in any way. So I think they're in for a phenomenal season, but I still think they're going to fall short and they're just going to end up in the same place they did last year, which is 4th. In 5th and 6th place, I have Villarreal and Celta Vigo. Villarreal have spent 35 million this year. That money most likely coming from the Alex Baena sale to Atletico Madrid for 45 million. But I don't have a lot to say about Villarreal. Villarreal are always just an irritating team, very, very strong at home, and they did very, very well last year to finish 5th, and I don't see them doing any worse this year. I think they'll once again be in and around there. To be honest, I could have swapped Bilbao and Villarreal because they both finished on 70 points last season, but I just think the Nico Williams factor is massive for Bilbao, so I'm pipping them for the 4th and the Champions League spot, with Villarreal taking 5th. Celta, I've put into 6th. They did also spend a fair bit. They spent about 12 million on a few players, and similar to Villarreal, they're just very, very good at home. Celta Vigo is a very, very difficult team to play, and they're very, very strong at home, and they've only just, well, not only just, I would have put Betis here. If Isco didn't get injured, I would have put Real Betis here, but with Isco being injured and Anthony not looking likely to come to Betis, even though he wants to, I don't think they're going to retain the form that pushed them all the way to 6th towards the end of last year. I think they're just going to fall just short and end up in, well, they're going to end up way, way lower. But Celta, I think they're going to jump up a place and do better than they did last year, finishing 6th as opposed to 7th. Moving on to the relegation places, I have Girona, Elche, and then Oviedo in that order. Girona and Oviedo, I'm a little bit getting influenced by the fact that they got beat in the opening round of La Liga games to Rayo Vallecano and to Villarreal. Like Girona, they lost at home, which is not the way you want to be starting La Liga. And I just think they barely escaped relegation last year. I think they're going to fall just short. I think Sevilla will actually stay in La Liga this year, like they did last year, but Girona will actually end up falling off. Again, the recent game might slightly be influencing that. But moving on to Oviedo, they have lost their opening game as well. To be fair to them, they lost to Villarreal away, and we just said Villarreal is very, very strong at home. So maybe that isn't influencing my decision as much. It's just the newer teams coming up and being promoted, they always tend to struggle no matter what league you're in. So I just think Elche and Oviedo, even though they just won promotion, I think we will be seeing them going straight back down at the end of the season. Moving on to the top goal scorer, and I could even say the player of the month, but let's start with top goal scorer, Kylian Mbappe. Now, Mbappe won the top goal scorer award last year, and he didn't even perform very, very well for the first few months of the season. This guy literally won this award based on his performances in the latter half of the season. He was phenomenal. The amount of goals he was scoring, the amount of games he was winning Real Madrid was fantastic. And if he can kickstart his La Liga campaign the way he ended last season, which I very much think he will do, he will run away with the Pichichi and it won't even be a little close. Which leads me to the player of the year, which once again is Kylian Mbappe. I just think if you're the top goal scorer and you're a part of the team that's won La Liga, the championship, it's only going to make sense that you're going to be the player of the year. If you're the top goal scorer and you're the reason they've won so many games and they've won La Liga, it only makes sense that you would be the player of the year. So once again, I am going for Kylian Mbappe for the player of the year. Impact signing, I am going for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, there's a lot of great signings. Like I said, Rashford has only just missed out on this list. I genuinely think Rashford is going to be a monster this year. I think he is going to be such a problem for Real Madrid and the rest of La Liga, and he is going to be fantastic for Barcelona. I really do. But Real Madrid have signed a player who was matching prime Kevin De Bruyne in assists and chance creation from the right back position. This man is a monster. Trent Alexander-Arnold, once he finds his feet and once he gets going, is going to be a monster. There will be no stopping him, and I truly believe he will be the impact signing of the summer, and the only person I think will even come kind of close to him is Rashford. But again, Rashford, it depends on which one turns up, whereas Trent, we know who he is and what he's going to be doing. Moving on to the player to watch, and once again, I'm going straight to Real Madrid, where I'm going Arda Guler. Arda Guler has been fantastic at the Club World Cup. He was phenomenal against WSG Tirol a few days ago in Real Madrid's only pre-season game. And I am actually fully being unbiased here. I genuinely am. But if I think a team is going to win La Liga, it only makes sense that they're going to dominate the awards. When Real Madrid won La Liga a couple seasons ago, their players dominated the awards. When Barcelona won La Liga last year, their players dominated the awards. So if I think Real Madrid are going to win the La Liga and be the champions, which I do, it only makes sense that the players are going to mostly be from Real Madrid that win most of the awards. So I'm going player to watch, Arda Guler. I think he, like I said, I think he had a phenomenal Club World Cup. He was fantastic in the preseason game against Tirol. And Xabi Alonso has shown that he trusts this guy. And the fact that he trusts him and is going to give him game time, we are going to see a superstar and we are going to see a player that is going to take over La Liga and maybe even Real Madrid's midfield. I have, well, a lot of Madridistas, in fact, not just myself, have very zero doubt about this guy's ability. It was just about game time. And now that he's going to get that, I cannot wait to see what he's going to do. And I do think he is the player to watch this year. Moving on to the final award, we have the manager to watch. And I am once again going straight to Real Madrid with Xabi Alonso. If we did this last year, if I did this La Liga prediction last year, my manager to watch without a doubt would have been Hansi Flick. Because what Hansi Flick did at Bayern Munich was ridiculously good. I absolutely loved watching that team play. They fully deserved to win all 6 trophies that they did win that year. And when he came to Barcelona, I was concerned. Obviously, what he did at Germany was still playing on my mind, and it had me a little hopeful that they've ended up with another Xavi. But no, Hansi Flick was phenomenal. But we're a year advanced, which to 25-26 season, not the 24-25 season. And this year, I'm going Xabi Alonso. This man very, very nearly won the perfect treble with Bayer Leverkusen, going undefeated for the whole season. He only just missed it in the final hurdle against, I think it was Napoli. Was it Napoli? No, it wasn't Napoli. Sorry, Atlanta. It was Atlanta. He only messed up against Atlanta in the final where Leverkusen ended up losing, but they still got a double, and he turned a team that was fighting relegation into nearly perfect treble winners. Nearly. He ended up winning the Bundesliga with a perfect record. He won whatever the German Cup, I'm not even sure what it's called, with a perfect record. Xabi Alonso is him. And I think now that he has a squad of players with the talent this team has at his disposal, we're going to see a whole nother level to both Alonso and to Real Madrid. So I do think he is the manager to watch this year. But anyway, I tried, like I said, I genuinely tried to be as unbiased as possible. But once, like I said earlier, once you pick your champion, it's kind of hard not to give their players all the awards. Because if they're they're champions for a reason. It's because the team and the players were playing very, very good. But anyway, I'm going to call the video there. Thanks for watching and peace.